This is Syndication Made Easy with Vinney Chopra. I am your co-host, Alicia Dubrell. And today I'm excited. Well, first of all, I want to say, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and share, please, because we love getting this out to you all the time. But Mr. Chopra, how are you doing this
I'm
morning?
doing great. It's so bright over here in California, San Francisco. I'm trying to move around this little desk here to make sure that people can see me. My
Yep.
good
No, you
face,
look
and
good.
I'm really
You guys,
excited because I'm interviewing my very good friend, Gene Trowbridge. Gene is the father of syndication in this nation, in USA. He's written books and all that and white papers. Just a great friend of mine. And he'll be on and we'll be passing through that interview to all our friends in the investors all over the globe, actually, because a lot of people are my followers in Australia, in London, in India, in Thailand, in Hong Kong. Wait a minute, I'm missing some. Philippines, of course, and also in Singapore, and I did say Thailand, Australia, and all. And New Zealand, and Hong Kong, Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. I'm getting my caffeine on.
All right. Hey, no caffeine for me. I'm always like this. I get up and I'm like that.
It's true. I have no idea sometimes where you get all that energy. But today, Mr. Chopra, I want to talk to you about, basically making real estate investing simple.
Okay.
Simplifying.
All right.
So
let's do it. I know many of you are stuck at your home, or you are with the family and all that, but you'd always wanted to see how I can buy apartment, how I can buy that 10 unit or 8 unit or 12 unit. This is the time. And I wrote this book, how to really go into it, how to analyze it, how to get some investors together, guys. So this is in Kindle edition. You could get it right away. If you have Audible, it's free. That's the best part. And then paper edition, Amazon will deliver. And also audio. I'm not talking on it, but I got a professional from Hollywood to really, read this book. So that's going to be, and Spanish. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Alicia. We also just introduced the Spanish version of the book also for our Spanish speaking friends around the globe. So thank you so much, Alicia, for doing that. Yeah. How are you?
Oh, hi, how are you doing?
Doing good.
So I want to talk about what are the different types of investors?
Oh, totally. Investors are amazing. I have always said that investors are gold because you can really scale up. You can really buy bigger apartments, even the 4 units or 8 units. You may not have the money. If you don't have the money, but you have people around you who trust you, they've seen you grow up and do well in life and everything, they would be willing to give you the money to become an equity partner. That's the word, equity partner. What's equity? Equity is when you don't take money and say, I'll give you 8% interest. That's a debt partner. It means if I only give you, Alicia, you give me 100,000 and I say, I'll give you 7% per year. That means I'll give you $7,000, but the 100,000 that I invest into my buying the apartment, and if the apartment value goes up, I don't give you any of the upside, but I'll only give you the interest rate I promise you, like 7,000, 7,000, 7,000. But I sold that apartment in 2-3 years for, let's say, 300,000 I made. Oh my gosh, I made 300,000, but you only got 21,000. That is a debt partner. That's a debt investor.
Okay.
But now, if I tell you, Alicia, give me 100,000, but you are an equity partner with me, now it's a different ball game. That means not only you will get the interest of the 7% or 8 or 9 or 10% per year, which is like the cash flow, we call it, right? Cash flow from the apartment building that I bought, 10 unit, 15, whatever unit. But if the apartment goes up 300,000 and I sold it, you are also going to get a big chunk of that money. That's what it is. So we look for investors who are equity partners, and they are called limited partners, because you will give me the money, but you will not be involved in the day-to-day operation of the apartment. Myself, I'll be taking the loan, I'll be finding the apartment, I'll be able to, make sure all the due diligence is done, the inspections are done, the legal due diligence, financial due diligence, physical due diligence. There are three due diligences we have to do. And then you're relying on me to make sure that this is the well done program. It's not a Ponzi scheme. You have to see my record. You have to see my, who I am and what I've done and all that, right? So all those things are so very important for investors. And you are equity investor where you get cash flows and the equity gain also. If you are debt investor, you only get the cash flow, but no upside. So it's better to be equity investor.
That actually brings me right to my next question, which is, if I was new to investing in real estate and new to this, big world that you live in, what would you say the safest or easiest way for me to get involved? What type of investor would I be?
Okay, good point. I would say, Alicia, you would be like a sophisticated investor or accredited investor. Now, sophisticated investors are the ones who know a little bit about investments. They have gone to some seminars, they've read some books, they have gone to some courses, on YouTube or anything like that. They have listened to and watched, they understand, or they have put money in the stock market or mutual funds. They know that how the investments work a little bit. So those are sophisticated investors, but they do not make $200,000 income of the last 2 years. Every year, if you have made over 200,000 income, and if you are husband and wife together, you have made $300,000 income in the last 2 years, and will be making this year, and with the same prospect of making in the future, then you are accredited investor. Accredited investors are the ones who are sophisticated, but they are making more money. And by making more money, SEC ruling, Securities and Exchange Commission ruling, says they are more knowledgeable and they'll be able to really enjoy, and they know what it needs to be able to invest into the deals. All right. So those are accredited investors, and they can also be $1 million net worth. Other words, they can be making 200,000 in the last 2 years, and with the same prospect of making in the future, all right, or have $1 million net worth. But guess what? Without counting their primary residence. So you cannot put the equity gain in your primary residence into your net worth when you are qualifying for accredited investors. That's okay. That's my friend Gene Trowbridge. I'll be interviewing Gene soon. So that's no problem at all,
Yeah, and we'll be able to get a lot of this information from Gene.
Oh, surely. So it's going to be exciting.
Well, okay, so Vinney, do you allow anybody to invest with you, or and if not, why? What are some reasons why you wouldn't allow an investor to work with you?
Sure. Alicia, that's a very good question. See, the thing is, under the SEC ruling, we have to really have pre-existing relationships, we call it, for the 506B. For the exemption, it's the Regulation D exemption 506B, where we can get sophisticated investors and also accredited investors. But you have to have relationship before you are offering them any kind of investment. Just like, if you remember when we talked to Gene Trowbridge, our good friend, he was sharing that your database freezes right that moment. The people who are in the database before that, you could actually talk to them and give them the information and everything about the new investment opportunity. But you cannot take the people, you will talk new people after you have started your package or the contract is signed, with the attorney to put the paperwork together, PPM and all that. So essentially, you cannot get anybody into any deal.
Okay.
So you cannot. And I think lots and lots of people are not understanding that you have to have pre-existing and sufficient time that you have talked to the investors to vet them, to cure them. Cure is another word, curation period. Could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be 30 days, could be 60 days if you have not talked to them to see what their goals are, what their financial goals are, and why would they like to invest in? Have they invested before in real estate or in stock market or places? Are they sophisticated or are they accredited? Do they have a net worth of $1 million? Not counting their, like I was sharing, in this podcast, $1 million net worth, right? So
Without including the residents.
without including their primary residence. Of course, rental homes and all fine. If there is increased equity in there, you can include that in the net worth. But in this case, or you are making 200,000 or 300,000 as a household last 2 years with the same prospects of making now and future, 2 years. So that's the stipulation. So we can get investors into our deals who have looked at the whole package. They have looked at all the ins and outs or the risks involved in it, because real estate is risky. They need to read the whole informational packet, first of all, and look at as best as they can, show it to their CPA, their attorneys, their financial advisors, their pastor, and all that. And then after that, when they indicate, yes, I want to invest with you on basis of your business plan and the packet, then we give them the offering memorandum. We call it PPM, private placement memorandum, subscription agreement, and the operating agreement. So those are the three main documents, legal documents, that we have to get our syndication SEC attorney to form. It costs money to make them. And then that needs to go one by one to the people that we have already met, and they have substantial pre-existing relationship, and now they can invest then. It's a long answer, because you cannot do it wrong, because that's not the way to do it.
So now, I guess here's a question for you. So you kind of described, the reason why they can't invest, because they're not you don't already have a pre-existing relationship with them. But you as a syndicator yourself, do you have minimal requirements for investors? So you have to invest, 100,000, 50,000, 300,000. Do you have requirements for yourself?
You're right. Yeah, Alicia, in the early career, in my case, I started and I just wanted to build strong base of investors. And I always felt that if I could get the early on investors with me for 50,000 minimum, no 25,000, no 10,000 or anything. Actually, the first one I ever did syndication in my life was 65,000 was the minimum. I just increased the level from 50 to 65, just in my first offering. And then I increased it to 100,000 minimum 12 years back. I've never looked back. See, I bought only 14 units for 180,000. Now I have bought over 28 syndications properties over 330 million. The reason is I'm able to buy with few investors, so big properties, so much money we can raise, $7 to $10 million in a day or two or three, because my investors are high net worth people. And if the investors have high net worth people, their peers also are going to be high net worth. That's a given fact. So that was the logical mind of an engineer. Okay, Vinney, go ahead and just set a lower limit. I missed out few people. I still miss out some people. Investors who reach out to me and they say, Vinney, I can only afford 50,000. I say, I'm so sorry. At some cases, we are able to get 50 now, but majority of the time, we do a tier investing also now. Not only 100 is minimum, but from 100 to 199, we give like 7-8%. Then 200 to 499, we give 1% extra. From 500 plus, we give 1% extra cash flow per year. That amounts bigger dividends, and so forth to our investors.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Plus, I would think if you have a bunch of small investments, having to manage that many investors' money.
You got it. Exactly. That's the other thing, because you have to really have those meetings, quarterly meetings, take care of the newsletters, K1s. The more investors you have, more K1s have to go out, more checks have to go out. Or if you're doing direct deposits, more direct deposits will be given out. So that's the other thing. My investors are so rich that they don't need to get that monthly cash flow, which we prefer that, because what do they want to do with $800 or $900 or $1,000? For some people, it's important. If they are living on a paycheck to paycheck or they are seniors, we can think about it. But you've been paying for 12 years, just that quarterly payoff, and they love it. They get a big chunk of money 4 times in a year. They go to the mailbox and pick up the money check. Now we are actually doing where we deposit it right into their bank account. So that's even better. That way there is no fallacy, there is no mail getting lost or check getting lost or deposits are not. So, we have been able to run our operation because we're vertically aligned, with our acquisition company, management company, asset management company, all that.
So if, and this is one of my, I've got 2 more questions for you.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
One would be, if I wanted to be an investor with you, what are the qualifications?
Okay, very good point. Since I've known you for the last 7 months or so, 8 months, and we have business relationship and friendship, and you have published my book. I mean, we have done so many things now, and we also interview together. So I have substantive pre-existing relationship with you, and you can actually invest in the deal. If I have another deal come, next one, like in senior living we are doing and all that. So you will be able to, if you express interest, that's the key thing, right? All the investors that you have already talked to, looked at their goals, and you have looked at that they are interested in putting into real estate some monies, and they could qualify, for 50,000 or 100,000, whatever your minimum is, guys. So then you start to put that information packet is called, right? It's the information packet which will come to you, Alicia, and then it's your choice to show it to other people to find out if it's a good deal for you to invest or not invest it. Then you let us know, Vinney, yes, I want to invest this much. And we call it soft commitment, actually. We send a MailChimp to only those investors who we have already known and, pre-existing relationship. They get them, and then they tell us, yes, we want to invest 100, 200, 500, 700. Some families are investing 700,000 with me, in one deal.
That's a lot of money.
I know it's a lot of money. I'm so fortunate that, our investors are able to keep that confidence and trust and integrity, how I have built my companies in the last 10, 12 years. And I meet with them every quarter, make sure that investors are well taken care of, their all the questions are answered, everything is fully, documented and so forth. Yeah.
Sure. And I guess my last question would be is, your nuggeted advice for newbie investors that are looking to get, they're looking to be passive investors, but they're new and it's like maybe one of their first investments. What would be your advice?
Very good point. I mean, Alicia, there are lots and lots of people right now with the jitterness in the stock market, and they might have pulled out the money at the right time and so on, and they'll be looking for safe havens. So the first thing I'd like to ask is all the passive investors to look at the people who are offering you the investment, who are the principals, who are the managers, what's their track record, I mean, you got to ask some very pointed questions. How did they do in the last crash? It's a crashing right now, and how
Mhm.
much liquidity they have, and ask them any kind of questions. What will happen if they die? Things happen in life. So you want to see how their structure is, who is going to be managing, and who are the team members. So all the things that will safeguard your investment. First of all, protection of it. Second is the growth of your investment, right? So all those things are very, very important to ask some very pointed questions for real proof, and even ask for some other investors information that you can talk to, so that you could find out who have been investing with them for few years, so that you can feel comfortable about what investment they are giving to you. But the big thing is, it's not the packet, it's not the deal, it's the person, it's the team, it's the member, it's the insurer. I call it as the syndicator who is doing the deal. And if they are involved in the whole thing, or are there other people trying to sell you or offer you the deal, through other chances? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, that completely makes sense. I know that we've been on here for a minute, and you have a busy day in front of you, but I
Thank
want to thank you
you.
for your time.
Thank you so much, Alicia. It's such a pleasure, guys. I mean, a lot of us are, like locked down in our homes. And I've been saying that on the social media and everything. Take that time to learn and grow your skills. If you're thinking about purchasing that apartment or smaller unit of fourplex or eightplex, and really getting that cash flow ready, deals going for you, streams of income, this is the right opportunity to take some time and maybe read this book. I wrote this book, it became international top seller, and you can even just email John, Jon, at vinneychopra.com. John at vinneychopra.com. We will be sending you, a Kindle copy, maybe, or like that. Kindle is actually free. If you just, Kindle is free, or audio is free if you have audible.com.
Audible. If you have Audible, you'll have a certain amount of
I
credits.
didn't know that, Alicia, that I have an Audible copy of this one. I mean, you can be listening and learning and so forth. Spanish, for our Spanish speaking friends around the globe, in all the different other countries in USA, that is also up and running now. So you could also read the whole book in Spanish, and that's going to be exciting. And of course, Kindle edition, paperback, and also the audio. So we have 4 different editions. And my next book is coming, Positivity Brings Profitability, very soon. Looking forward to, sharing that with you all. Also, please like us, share, and give us some comments so that we can bring some really terrific, content for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Vinney, so much. Don't forget to like, share, and comment below. And this is your host, your co-host, Alicia Dubrell, and that's Vinney Chopra. And this is Syndication Made Easy. So until next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. See you.
Be sure to listen to Mr. Smiles next week with more golden nuggets and top-notch coaching tips. You can reach him by going to vinneychopra.com or texting the word syndication to 474747. Be sure to like, comment, and share to show everyone how Mr. Smiles has brought your apartment syndication business to the next level.